What good would it do to get everything you want and lose you, the real you? What could you ever trade your soul for? Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, the preacher's going to preach on fully vested for prosperity. You may be seated. Fully vested for prosperity. I'm not going to take up too much of your time this morning, but the world, it appears that everyone preaches on prosperity. The question is, do they preach on prosperity for stewardship for the individual, for the person, or do they speak on prosperity to benefit the church? You missed that. I'm going to say that one more time. Prosperity, God says, is to be within every Christian's perspective. Am I right about it? Wait, come on now. Come on, y'all need to talk to me. I'm going to say it again. Prosperity is supposed to be granted for all of those who love the Lord. Now wait, do y'all love the Lord? And yet in the process of loving the Lord, how many of you still struggling to pay your bills? Oh, come on now. Now, I'm going to ask you one more time, how many of you love the Lord? And my next question is, if you love the Lord and you really do, how many of you are still struggling to pay your bills? Oh, every last one of us love the Lord, or we supposed to, and we are struggling to pay our bills. Am I right about it? Now, if I love the Lord and I am struggling to pay my bills, then what could be the issue? First of all, I know that God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. I know he owns the rivers and the rocks and rills. I know that God owns everything, and because I am God's child, my question is, why am I not fully receiving a piece of the rock? Y'all gonna talk to me? Why am I not receiving a piece of the rock? Why is it that I'm struggling day to day, month to month, week to week? And Lord, if I lose my job, what's gonna happen to me? Well, I'm gonna try to answer the question, if I can, in the next couple of weeks. First of all, net worth. What am I worth? My human anatomy, mankind will tell you, is only worth 99 cents. My value is only worth 99 cents. If you compute the cost of anything and analyze anything that can be taken out of me to be sold. That's deep, ain't it? Now, if you selling kidneys and all that kind of stuff, the other person is dead. My value is only worth 99 cents, yet to God, we are worth so much that God had to change himself and become a man like us, and never could be converted back to where he was and what he was, to come here and save us. That's value. So then, God's net worth is different than man's net worth. Am I right about it? I'm going to ask you one more time. God's net worth is different than man's net worth. So now, net worth is a concept that most people understand solely in terms of finance. Solely in terms of what? How many of you have tried to get a loan? How many of you have gotten loans? All right. Okay. Now maybe that's a little bit better. Okay. Now, when you applied for your loan, let me ask you this crazy question. What was one of the first things they asked you? Do you have a what? Do you have a job? The next thing they ask you, how long you been on? Come on, talk to me. How long you been on the job? And the final thing they ask you, how much do you make? They want to know how much you are really worth. Amen? Come on now, talk to me. Now, the difference between that is what you make, how long you work, is determined on whether or not you'll get the loan to get what you. Come on, what you want. But now, you don't have to purchase a loan from God to get what he can give you. Y'all just don't want to talk to me this morning. I know, there is no such thing as a loan from God because Jesus paid it all, yet I'm broke. I'm broke in finances, but I ain't broke spiritually. Because even though all of us don't have what we want, I guarantee you when you leave church today, you're going to eat something. Might be some beans, but you are going to eat something. You do have a roof over your head. Can I get a witness in here? You may not have a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, but you got a hoopty. You got something that you can drive, and can I talk to me? So then, net worth is a concept that deals with mankind's finances. It refers to the numerical figure remaining after all debts have been paid. Now, after all what have been paid? Look at after all debts. What kind of debts? Come on. House, apartment, talk to me. Food, Sears, Macy's. How many of y'all listen at 94.5? That's right. And what they got going on right now, a plan to something about you can out shopping. I don't forgot the name what they call it. But anyhow, you have to pay your bills. Now let me ask you this question. You have to pay bills in order to live, to survive. This lady get on I know I owe you. No need of me calling, no need of you calling me. You knew I was broke from the beginning, but you gave me the credit card anyhow. Hey, listen. On the spiritual side, there is no way you will ever repay Christ back for what he has done for you. Now, here comes the big question. If I cannot pay God back, but yet I strive to pay mankind, what's up with that? That's kind of backwards, ain't it? I'm going to ask that question again. If I strive to pay my car note, my apartment, my house note, do you know why I strive to pay that? Why do I pay my apartment note or house note? So I have a place to stay. Why do I pay my car note? Why do I pay my utility bill? Now watch this. Some of us will let MasterCard go. We will not pay Sears for a month, or utilities for a month, but we're going to make sure we got something to eat every day. Come on, am I right about it? And here is the craziest thing about that. We're going to make sure that we pay man, but we put God on the back burner. Did y'all hear what I just said? Which means what we do is we pay man first. And then we turn around and think about what we think we're going to give God. It's evident. It's evident here at this church. Because I see it. Wait, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to really truly say it again. What we do, we pay everybody first except paying the one who woke you up this morning. And you know what's so strange about it? Here is the bad thing about it. We take for granted that God will let us slide. But we know man won't let us slide because they're going to come get their car. And they're going to come kick you out of the apartment and kick your hips out the house. But because we can't see God, and because God don't make no phone calls, God doesn't send an email, God don't send a text, your phone don't blow up with 1-800 number, and you can't see a phone call where it says 1-800 or you see unknown, you don't answer. God doesn't do any of those things. What God says, if you keep robbing me, sooner or later you're going to get it. But because we can't see him, because we can't feel him, because the telephone don't ring, we take for granted we can do whatever we want to do when it comes down to taking care of God. And we think, Malachi says, will a man rob? Now, wait a minute. So God, are you saying, I know it's wrong to steal, but are you really saying it'd be better for me to rob one of my friends than to rob you? Are y'all thinking? Huh? So, are you really thinking? What are you saying, God? God is saying to me, if I rob, would it be better for me to rob man, and that's wrong, than to rob God? Because ultimately, the person who reaps the worst is if I get it from God. I'd rather get it from man than get it from God. Wouldn't you rather get whipped by man? You know, when I was a kid growing up, I'd rather mama whip me. I mean, it hurt a little bit, you know, but if I holler long and holler just the right way, y'all talk, come on now, y'all talk to me. Y'all come on, you know, and just I'm okay, mama, do the couple of licks, and it's all over. But here come daddy. Oof. Oof. Didn't I tell you? Oof. Why you know? Oof. And them things hurt. I never forget. You know, can y'all give me a couple more minutes? I never forget. You know, when we get to be around 14, 15, we think we grown. And I forgot what I did, but I sure remember the whipping I got. I told Billy and Michael, I ain't going to cry no more. I'm a man. I'm tired of this foolishness. Daddy always want whipping on me. I'm tired of it. I am not going to cry no more. Boom. 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 Oh, now you think you bad, huh? You think you a man, huh? You ain't gonna cry, huh? You ain't gonna cry, huh? Wah, wah! now, I want you to truly get what I just said. I was getting whipped by daddy who loved me. That's what he said. That's what he said. I'm getting whipped by a man. I'd rather get whipped by my daddy any day of the week than get whipped by God. Now listen at this. Net worth from God's perspective, as I told you earlier, is different. God sees the whole of your life when he views your prosperity. Which means that maybe the reason why I am not as prosperous as I think I ought to be is because God is still waiting to see how real I'm going to be with what he already gave me. It could also mean when you read the Bible, how many characters in the Bible were all rich? Some of them were rich. Some of them were poor. But they were rich in spiritual blessings. And we know they gonna get into heaven. All different levels. Watch this. There was a woman who came to church and she gave 6 pence. That's approximately 3 cents in our money. Versus what everybody else, some of the other people gave. And do you know what happened? God turns around and he says to the disciples, this woman has given more than any of the others. Why did he say that? She gave everything she had. She didn't have anything else. She really, when you look at the other side of the coin, the reason why the lady gave more than everybody else, she gave all she had, which meant that she had to have faith to do that. Because the other people who gave didn't need any faith. Y'all missed that. Because they knew they had something left in the bank. So then when I give what I'm supposed to give to God, it is supposed to be a faith movement. So because my faith is not as strong as it ought to be, it means that I must not be doing everything I'm supposed to be doing for God in the realm of stewardship. All right. My value to God means that I am strong in some points and I'm weak in other points. But one thing I must always constantly do, if I have $1 and I know that my bill is $1. And that's all I got today. Man will get 90 cents, and I'm going to give God his 10 cents. And isn't it strange? Okay. I'm going to kind of give you, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm going to give you. I remember when gas was 65 cents a gallon. Anybody remember it being lower than that? Oops. You didn't raise your hand, Mike? 37. Okay. Now, I remember when a loaf of bread was 24 cents. I remember when I could go to Burger King with $1, get a Whopper, fries, and a drink, and get 25 cents back. The first car that I purchased cost me brand new cost me $5,500. That was a Vega. That was the first car that I purchased, $5,500. Now, you go to the store and whole wheat bread will cost you how much? How many of you pay it? 2. A gallon of milk costs how much? How many of you pay it? Gas is $3 and what now? Might as well say $4. How many of you pay it? Why do you pay it? Now watch this. You paid all of that for a human need, but you refuse to pay God what he's been saying ever since mankind showed up, 10%. Ain't been no inflation on that. But added blessings come to it. And we refuse to do that. Am I right? If I'm wrong, tell me. Prosperity is what? Look at the screen. God's plan for every prosperity. He said, be prosperous in prosperity and in health. Now here's my last one, and then I'm going to sit down. Many of us have a mindset that business is business and church is church. Ronnie's not up here, but isn't it comfortable in here? Sometimes I come here during the week and the air conditioner is still on. Guess who paying it? We are. Now, the church is spiritual, but it is also a ministry and business. Am I right? Now watch this. Watch this. If you came here in this church today and there was no air conditioning here, what would you say? I'll see y'all later. God bless y'all. I'm gone. Let's tell the truth. How come they didn't pay the bill? Well, then how come y'all didn't give them no money? Listen. Play a little something, Patrick. Listen. If I have $100, God gave it to me. And if I want to be blessed, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. Y'all done heard that. If I want to truly be blessed, I need to do what God tells me to do. Now, I can come to church on Sabbath. I can do all kind of things. But if I'm not doing what God tells me to do, I'm in trouble. Did you hear what I said? I'll never forget. And just because Brother Jacobs is here today, you've heard me talk about the Texarkana Church. I told you that the Texarkana Church was one of the most givingest church that I ever pastored. Now, Faith Temple, y'all close. You in there. I mean, you in there. But when I was at Texarkana, we were trying to get out off industrial, what's that, Industrial Road? Wait, Regina here, Vic, what was the name, what was that street that church was on? Industrial and Willis, wasn't it? I got it. Church was on Industrial and Willis. And every time I got ready to make an appeal, the train would come. Right? Right there on the train track. The church was so poor that they had built a cinder block thing for baptism on the outside. Remember that? Yeah, okay. And I said, we got to get up out of here. And then Sister Anderson worked for somebody, and they said, we got some land for you if you want to buy it. And we went and looked at the land on Kings Highway, had a lot of pine, but we needed $5,000. Sister Gillette was the treasurer at the time. Sister Gillette, how much money do we have at that time? I was just in the process of learning how to look at the books. Well, I had already started that in Lubbock, but I was just in the process of learning how to try to navigate. You know how you navigate and you try to figure out what you can do next week, next month? And she said, Pastor, the only thing we have is to pay the utilities because the church was paid for. Then she turned around to me. She said, Pastor, you go out there and you tell the church what you want to do. I said, but Pastor, these folk don't have no money. Did you hear what I said, Pastor? I said for you to go out there and you tell that church what you want. And so I went out and I said, we need to build a church and we need some property. And the property costs $5,000. Where is it? Told them where it was. Following Sabbath, I went back, said the same thing. And all of a sudden, people started raising their hand. But there was one little lady named Hattie Bell. And Hattie Bell said, Pastor, you come see me, Pastor. I went to see Sister Hattie Bell. And y'all know anything about them shiffer rolls? I mean, some of y'all too, but these old shiffer rolls, the long ones, the heavy, the real wood ones. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It. She said, Pastor, go back there by the shiffer roll. I said, what you want me to go back there? She said, come on, let's go on back there. So she went with me. And she said, pick up the thing, pick up the thing. And so I picked it up. The thing was heavy. I picked it up. She said, go over there in the corner. I went over to the corner. And she said, you don't see no money yet? I said, no, I don't see it. She said, there's some stockings over there, Pastor. I know you see it. Now, y'all know about them one-legged stockings, y'all. The kind of stockings that y'all put on y'all head with Duke to make, y'all remember that? Come on, y'all remember that? Come. What you'd put the Duke on your head, and then you put the stocking cap so you can have waves in your head. I went there, and she had money in these stockings rolled up, and so she went up. She said, "Pull one of them out, Pastor." So I pulled them out, and she said, "What's in these?" I said, $20 bills. She said, "Okay." So I pull them all out. She said, "Start counting." 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 100, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 200, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 300, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 400. She said, "You can have $400 for the church." The lady wasn't working, wasn't doing nothing. $400 for the church. I took the money, went to Sister Galette's house. She still live over there, and gave her the $400 and said, "This from Sister Hattie Bell." She said, "I told you, Pastor, them people got money. They got money. You need to ask for it." Y'all, I'm going to make the long story short. Well, got the land paid for. Then it was time to build a church. And so people started pledging 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. Am I telling the truth? Regina, were you up there here? Amen. Am I telling the truth? Amen, amen. So then I went to the conference. I said, we need to borrow $200,000 to build a church. I'm talking about faith and stewardship in God. And the conference, yes, indeed, Pastor. I know you done baptized all them people down there and them faithful folk down there, but we can't give you no loan. That's too much money. Did y'all hear what I just said? I went back to the church. I said, the conference said they can't let us borrow any money from them because they don't know whether or not we can pay for it. My heart was broke. I went and talked to Sister Galette and Brother and Sister Jacobs. Had just baptized a lady. She worked at the Red River Credit Union. Am I telling the truth? Can I get a witness up in here? And Brother and Sister Jacobs came to me, said, "Pastor, go get your plans. Let's take these plans to the Red River Credit Union." Took those plans to the Red River Credit Union. And they looked at them and they said, "That's good." I got excited. But guess what we needed? A signer. From a person who was a member of the Red River Credit Union. And Brother Jacob said, "Pastor, I'm going to sign it." Did y'all hear what I said? I said, Brother and Sister Jacobs, you mean to tell me y'all going to sign a note? Well, we had raised like 80-some thousand, but we still needed $100 and some thousand. You mean to tell me you're going to sign a note like that? Brother, I'll never forget Brother Jacob's answer. His answer was, if the church don't pay it, God's going to give me a way to fix it. And so the Texarkana church was built and the note was paid ahead of time. I want you to know, if you trust God and if you do what God tells you to do, he'll fix it. Because David said, I once was young and now I'm old, but I ain't never, ever, 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 ever seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added. And so this morning, well, this afternoon now, I'm asking each and every one of you that's present here to sign a contract, not on paper, in your heart, and say, for the next 3 months, I'm going to try Jesus. The next 3 months, I'm going to try Jesus faithfully. Now, if I got $100, $10 of it belong to God. That's tithe. But I got to do something for ministry. We're just asking 5%, $15 out of $100. Some folk doing more, but $15. I go to Burger King. If I go to Burger King every day of the week, I'm at least spending $5. That's $25. God says, try me. And I will prove to you that I will open you up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you shall not have room enough to receive. I'm asking you, try Jesus. Try him for 3 months, faithfully. Whatever takes place, try him. And I guarantee you, something's going to happen. But you got to step out on faith. You got to step out on faith. What did I say you have to do? Step out on faith. Now, I don't know where everybody is this morning, but those of you that are here, you make some phone calls, and you tell everybody, listen, we're on a 3-month contract with God. And we want you to try Jesus faithfully, like I know you can. And he's going to bless you.